This is the recording of my learner from grade 4.
Adventure to remember. Kel was looking at the clouds one afternoon while he laid on the grass. He was thinking about what is above those white and cottony clouds. Are there kids up there? Warm. He can play with. Do they have toys the same as his? Do their parents allow them to play outside their houses? Are they free from the COVID-19 pandemic? These are the questions that play in his mind. Kiel felt sad often because in the past few months, he was not able to do his usual habits like playing with his friends. Kiel was thinking deeply when a big white cat appeared in front of him. It is smiling broadly, which is unusual for a cat. Its tail was positioned straight in the air as it was happy to see him. He was about to rub the cat when it ran fastly away from him. Kiel was tempted to run after the cat. He did notice that he gone far. He was amazed when he saw the cat floated over the rainbow. He followed it until it reached its destination. He saw an open gate of a kingdom. The cat looked back at him, still smiling, and said, "Welcome to our magical kingdom." Kiel was frightened when he realized that that cat was speaking, but still asked it courageously, "Where am I?" The cat did not answer, and suddenly it disappeared like a bubble. Kiel entered the magical kingdom. He was welcomed by a wizard. He saw many children riding on different rides. All were smiling and laughing. He was standing when a group of children approached him. They invited him to come with them and try the different rides. They first rode in a hot air balloon in which riders leave the world behind and enjoy the excitement of flight. The ride has 10 colorful balloons that rise off the ground and spin, talking the rides up, and away. After the first ride, they tried to experience the adventure of riding a dinosaur. Just like in the movies, they choose from the 6 dinosaur tubes to ride and mani- mani- maneuver it up and down while it revolves around the central point. Kel was enjoying the company of his newfound friends, so they chose you, un, unanimously the third ride, which is the bouncing boulder, a mini tower ride that can carry at least 6 passengers to a height of approximately 10 meters, then quickly drops in a series of short drops. They were tireless and enjoying each other's company, so they also tried other rides until they heard an announcement. Everyone was asked to ready themselves for the magical moonlight parade. At the end of the end, they witnessed the colorful fireworks display. As Kel looking in the fireworks display, he wished that his family was also there to witness what he saw. He missed them suddenly and closed his eyes. He felt someone was tapping his chest. He opened his eyes slowly and saw her mother. It seemed that you had a great dream. You were smiling before I tapped your chest, said mother. Kel realized that it was all a dream. I rarely experienced a dream like that. I thought it was true, he said. He started to narrate his adventure to mother on their walk back home. Adventure to remember. Kel was looking at the clouds one afternoon
The learner mispronounced the word afternoon as afternoon.
while he laid on the grass. He was thinking
He then mispronounced the word thinking as thinking.
about what is above those white and cottony clouds.
The word above is mispronounced as above.
Are there kids up there? Warm. He can play with. Do they have toys the same as his?
The word have is mispronounced as have.
Do their parents
The word parents is mispronounced as ferents.
allow them to play outside their houses?
The learner said allow instead of allow.
Are they free from the COVID-19 pandemic? These are the questions that play in his mind.
This is mispronounced as this.
Kiel felt sad often because in the past few months,
He misread few as pew.
he was not able to do his usual habits like playing with his friends. Kiel was thinking deeply when a big white cat appeared in front of him. It is smiling broadly,
The learner said is smiling instead of smiling.
which is unusual for a cat.
The learner omitted the word is and then mispronounced the word unusual as unusual.
Its tail was positioned
Positioned is mispronounced as positioned.
straight in the air as it was happy to see him.
The learner initially said seem, but eventually successfully corrected himself and read the right word see him.
He was about to rub the cat
The learner said rub instead of rub. He then repeated the cat twice.
when it ran fastly away from him.
From is mispronounced as prom.
Kiel was tempted
The learner said tempted instead of tempted.
to run after the cat.
After is mispronounced as after.
He did notice that he gone far.
The learner said did not instead of didn't, and he mispronounced the word notice as notice. He'd is mispronounced as he.
He was amazed when he saw the cat floated over the rainbow.
He said floated instead of floated.
He followed it
Followed is mispronounced as followed.
until it reached its destination. He saw an open gate of a kingdom.
Kingdom is mispronounced as kingdom.
The cat looked back at him, still smiling, and said,
Still is mispronounced as still.
"Welcome to our magical kingdom."
Kingdom, for the second time, is again mispronounced as kingdom.
Kiel was frightened
The learner mispronounced the word frightened as frightened.
when he realized that cat was speaking.
The learner repeated the first syllable of the word realized, but then again misread it as realize. The word that is repeated twice, but the next word, which is the, is omitted. The word speaking is mispronounced as is speaking.
But still asked it courageously, "Where am I?" The cat did not answer, and suddenly it disappeared like a bubble.
Didn't is misread as did not, and end is misread as n.
Kel entered the magical kingdom.
The learner omitted the word in.
He was welcomed by a wizard.
The learner misread the word welcomed as welcome.
He saw many children riding on different rides. All were smiling and laughing.
The learner mispronounced the word different as different and repeated the word all twice. The word and is again mispronounced as n the second time.
He was standing when a group of children approached him.
The learner repeated the first syllable of the word approached, but then misread it as approached.
They invited him to come with them and try the different rides.
The word invited is mispronounced as invited. The learner also mispronounced the word different as different.
They first rode in a hot air balloon.
The learner said heart instead of hot.
in which riders leave the world behind.
The learner repeated the word in. The learner initially said witches instead of which, but then eventually successfully corrected himself. He also mispronounced the word live as lib.
And enjoyed the excitement of flight.
The learner said flight instead of flight.
The ride has 10 colorful balloons that rise off the ground and spin talking the rides up, and away.
The learner said talking instead of taking, and then said rides instead of riders.
After the first ride, they tried to experience the adventure of riding a dinosaur, just like in the movies.
The learner mispronounced the word experience as experience.
They chose from the 6 dinosaur tubes.
The word chose is mispronounced as choose. The learner said tubes instead of tubs.
To ride and maneuver.
The learner initially said manev, then mane, until he successfully corrected himself and said the right word maneuver.
It up and down while it revolves around the central point.
The word point is mispronounced as foint.
Kel was enjoying the company of his newfound friends, so they chose unanimously.
The learner mispronounced the word newfound as newpound. He then said friends instead of friends. And for the second time, he mispronounced the word chose as choose. The learner repeated the first syllable of the word unanimously twice and then mispronounced it as unanimously.
The third ride which is the bouncing boulder, a mini tower ride that can carry at least 6 passengers to a height of approximately 10 meters.
The learner misread the word height as hate.
Then quickly drops in a series of short drops.
The learner mispronounced the word series as series. He then initially said shot instead of short, but then eventually successfully corrected himself.
They were tireless and enjoying each other's company.
The word company is mispronounced as company.
So they also tried other rides until they heard an announcement.
The learner mispronounced the word heard as heard.
Everyone was asked to ready themselves for the magical moonlight parade.
The learner mispronounced the word everyone as everyone, then misread the word asked as ask. So initially said re instead of ready, but eventually corrected himself.
At the end of the end, they witnessed the colorful fireworks display. As Kiel looking in the fireworks display, he wished that his family was also there to witness what he saw.
The learner omitted the word was. He initially said wa instead of wished, but eventually successfully corrected himself. He also mispronounced the word family as family. The learner said whiteness instead of witnessed.
He missed them suddenly and closed his eyes.
The word closed is misread as close.
He felt someone was tapping his cheeks. He opened his eyes slowly and saw her mother.
The learner said checks instead of cheeks. The word end again is mispronounced as n and so as so.
It seemed that you had a great dream. You were smiling before I tapped your cheeks, said mother.
The word seemed is mispronounced as seem. The word great is substituted by the word greet. The learner said taft instead of topped. He then again mispronounced the word cheeks as checks.
Kel realized that it was all a dream. I rarely experienced a dream like that. I thought it was true, he said.
The learner initially said a rail, then said or, but eventually corrected himself and said I rarely. He also mispronounced the word experienced as experienced. The word said is mispronounced as said.
He started to narrate his adventure to mother on their walk back home.
The learner said is started instead of started. then said adventure instead of adventure, and lastly, he mispronounced the word way as walk.